NewsWatch. And bring this up, I'll bring this up. Okay, and hopefully I don't lose my menuings.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, on Sunday we will have the yen current account, so all time frames.
Yep.
Then on Monday we will have, let's see what Bailey has to say at 5 a.m. due to speak about the economic outlook at a webinar hosted by the Resolution Foundation, so not interesting enough. Then not a lot of news. No, there was nothing else on Monday.
Okay. Still not that one.
Then no, it is the final GDP quarter over quarter, so
yep.
There was never a surprise. The forecast about everything which is final, quarter over quarter or year over year, are always very, very accurate.
Okay.
On Tuesday, we will have Lowe speaking from Australia.
Where is he?
At 5 p.m.
Thank you. 5 p.m.
Yeah.
PM?
Yeah, it is the red news.
Yes. Sorry, I did say I was just waking up, so excuse me.
Due to deliver a speech titled The Recovery, Investment and Monetary Policy at the Australian Finance Review Business Summit. No, not important at all. It will be a general lecture. However, even if it is a year-over-year CPI for China, I will monitor the CPI year-over-year because China is the most important economy in the world now. And it's always interesting to see how its inflation is evolving in the present conditions, so monitor, yeah. And that's it for Tuesday. So not a lot of news up for the moment. On Wednesday, we will have the US dollar CPI month over month and core CPI month over month, all time frames, yeah. And then we will have a big one in red with the CAD, Bank of Canada rate statement, overnight rate. Then we will have to monitor the crude oil inventories, and then we have to include, of course, the press conference.
Yep.
And monitor the 10-year bond auction, and I will monitor also the US dollar federal budget balance.
Okay, and the hot tip that Eusebio gave us a few weeks ago, or probably more often than that, is this news comes out at this point, but wait for the press conference to kind of finally nail put the final nail in the coffin before you do anything about whether it's a surprise or not. Yep.
Yeah, and I advise you to watch the press conference if it is broadcast, because you will see at the same time how the market will react depending the tone used by the guy. I don't remember what is his name, but sorry. No, Bank of Canada is. I don't remember the name of all the governors, so but it doesn't matter. But the market is always expecting if the guy is dovish or hawkish in the way he will explain the rate statement and the monetary policy statement, knowing that hawkish means some optimism, and so this will be good for the currency, and dovish means pessimistic, and so this will be bad for the currency. And so the tone used may be important.
Okay, I've not seen these, but if you click on, I think it's here, we'll take you to where the press release is.
No, you can click on the latest release on the source slide. You see at the very top? Yeah.
Yeah, that's supposed to.
Latest release, and a few minutes before the press conference. So if the press conference is broadcast, you will have the link to watch it in live conditions.
Okay. So that's the page that brings up.
Yeah.
So these ones are old ones, February the 10th, etc., etc. So,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, usually the link is provided a few minutes before the event.
Cool. And this applies to most of the announcements as well, many of them, or some of them. So the information's already here in Forex Factory for you. Okay, so carrying on.
So where are we? So the press conference, and monitor the 10-year bond auction, federal budget balance, as I have already said, and I will monitor also the Aussie MI inflation expectations.
Okay.
And that's it for Wednesday.
Okay.
For Thursday, we will have another big one with the euro. So we will have the monetary policy statement, main refining rate, and ECB press conference. Also, same thing. You can always watch Christine speaking. So I will not take. I will not have a pleasure to watch the video, but it is important to watch these kind of events. So monitor the natural gas storage and the 30-year bond auction. Then we have Chambry speaking from the Bank of Canada. So due to speak at an online event hosted by the Bank of Canada. So, but okay, nothing important.
Yep.
And that's it for Thursday.
Okay.
And for Friday, we will have the pound GDP month-over-month, all time frames.
Yep.
Then we will have, I will monitor the pound NIESR GDP estimate.
Yep.
And then a big one for the Canadian dollar, which is the analog of the non-farm payroll, yeah, the employment rate and the unemployment rate. So a big one in red. So all time frame, so high impact. High impact at least for the Canadian pairs. And we will have also later, at the same moment for the Canadian dollar, the wholesale sales month-over-month, small time frames, so under H4. Then we will have later for the US dollar, the two preliminary University of Michigan consumer sentiment and inflation expectations, so under H4.
Thanks. Okay. And right. So let me just do this first, now that I've thought about it. F6. I'll just bring up Snagit. The reason we go through this is so that you avoid getting hit by any volatility that's coming out caused by surprises in the news. So anything, if you're trading under the H4 timeframes, those are the news items to watch out for. Trading over the above the H4 timeframe, so all timeframes, those are the ones to watch for. And what to do when they come out is that you don't place any orders within 1 hour of the news coming out, and you get out of them within half an hour of the news coming out. This is a primer session, so SAM and standard students who may have more orders on because they've been scaling in can be a bit more judicious about that and perhaps just take out some of the extra orders. The difference between primer and standard is that with standard, and as a result SAM, because it's even more advanced, is that you can keep adding to your orders as a trend progresses, and you can do that very safely without impacting on your risk overly, and in fact very quickly getting into places where you've got guaranteed profits. Even if the stops get hit, you're still guaranteed a profit. It's much better than just doing a trailing stop situation. Okay, and what happens if there's a news when it comes out that's surprising, then it can cause a lot of volatility or whiplash or spikes at that particular point. And if you're trading in it, then those whiplashings can impact the money that you've saved up to do your trading with, as well as the profits. So it's not just profits that can get hit, it's your account. So we're really careful about that. And if there's any news coming out on the three big currencies, which is the US dollar, the euro, and the yen, then treat them as if the news is coming up for a currency in the pair that you're trading. So it doesn't matter what pair you're trading. News coming up on the US, the euro, and the yen treated as live. If you're in a smaller, if there's news coming up on a smaller currency, like for instance the CAD here, and you're trading something that's not related to the CAD, then you can just be aware of what's happening with the CAD, but not necessarily follow those criteria of not placing orders or getting out of trades within the time frame before the news comes out. The pound's a bit different. It's kind of sits halfway. These days I'd treat it more as a smaller, one of the smaller pairs at the moment, because it seems to be behaving itself. But all last year it was just a rogue currency, and it generally only affected if there was a surprise news came out on the pound, and it came out at any time, so we didn't really know when. It would impact generally only the pound pairs, and the other pairs sort of got away with things. So, but having said all that, there are times when you can get a currency which, like the Kiwi, and one came up just recently. If I can bring this down here. Trying to open it without, okay, it's not working. Just drag this across. So some news came out on the pound. It was the New Zealand rate and policy, and this was on the 23rd of February. And you can see it caused a 97 pip spike in the pound Kiwi. And this happened, like there's the New York close, and in here is our magic red box zone, and it's very close to the Tokyo Open as well. So there was a 97 pip spike on the Kiwi, and you kind of expect that because it's news on the Kiwi. But and the euro and the Aussie, like Kiwis and Aussies are kind of related cousins-ish. There was a similar movement on the Aussie, and there's the Aussie Kiwi with a big spike on it. But here's the pound dollar, and there was a 112 pip spike. And here's the pound CAD, 110 pips. Euro, 60 pip spike. Pound yen, 125 pips, just because of the New Zealand news coming out. And the Kiwi is the smallest pair of the lot. So if you just, US yen didn't do anything. It moved a little bit, but I'm not too sure if that's related to the news or not. It was 15 pips, so it hardly matters. Kiwi dollar, 68. Euro Swiss, nothing, not really related at all. The Aussie Kiwi did a big spike, 40 pips straight up. The interesting thing is this was just a sudden spike here, and then it continued on its way, whereas the pound seemed to really overreact and cause massive spikes in both directions. And the Aussie, I'm not too sure what the pound Kiwi relationship is, but and this was an Aussie index where I can't even see that it actually registered on there. It was these two bars here where it came out. So it didn't appear to impact on any of the indices either, but major impact on sort of pairs that you wouldn't think would be related to it. Okay, just wanted to show you. So even though we're saying treat the euro, the US dollar, and the yen as being major movers, and be careful of any news coming out on those, even the tiniest currency can still cause a blip in the markets. So you've still got to be aware of what's coming up. And if you're not too sure, then just it's better to stay out. If in doubt, stay out, kind of thing. Right. Top 10. These, out of the 28 major pairs, this is the top 10 listed by the best movers based on the dollars over the last few weeks. And the ranges are beginning to move up a little bit. Like 113s, too many, not enough threes. Okay. Still quite a tight range. It looks like it's beginning to maybe start to move a bit. Pairs seem to be moving a little bit better last week. And down here are some extra movers if you wanted to not to be with the ones that are a bit more volatile and whiplashy, perhaps. But Eusebio, how many of these do you want? How far down do you want to go?
You can go down to the US dollar CAD.
Oh, that far. Okay. Cool.
Yeah. Include the US dollar CAD.
Oh. Told you I'm only just still waking up. Okay. So, and what Eusebio is going to do now is match up the news with the top 10 pairs so that you get a smaller selection on a daily basis rather than having to monitor all those pairs. So we don't want these ones. So on Sunday we have the yen.
The yen, okay. And that's it.
Yeah, Monday nothing.
Yeah, so we will have the pound yen or the pound US dollar.
Sure, I've got one of those.
Yeah, on Thursday, second line.
Oh, yep, thank you. Format. Okay.
Then we will have the pound Kiwi or pound Aussie.
Okay.
And then the pound Swiss or pound CAD.
Okay. And if you have any questions or think we've made a mistake, just let us know. We're not infallible and happy to answer any questions. So leftovers from Monday, there's nothing. So we go from 5 p.m. New York time to 5 p.m. New York time. So after 5 p.m. there was no important news coming out, and we're only looking for all time frames or under H4. So in Tuesday we have the euro.
The euro, yeah.
That's it.
Okay, so we will have the euro Kiwi or euro Aussie.
Sure, I had them. Nope. It's been a week before. Okay.
Then we will have the pound Kiwi or pound Aussie.
Yep.
And then the pound US dollar or the pound Swiss.
Okay, I'll do you. Okay, so leftovers from Tuesday is nothing, and on Wednesday we have the US.
The US dollar, okay.
CAD.
The CAD is here, okay.
That's it.
And that's it. Okay, so we will have pound US dollar or pound CAD.
I thought we just done that one, but no. Okay.
Yeah, you had it on Friday, but anyway. Then we will have something unusual. The pound Swiss or the Aussie US dollar. Pound Swiss or Aussie US dollar. This is not very common to see the Aussie US dollar. And then we will have the pound Kiwi or pound Aussie.
Cool. Okay, so leftovers from Wednesday, we have nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And on Thursday, we've got the euro.
The euro, okay.
And that's it.
Okay. So for the choice, it will be exactly the same choice as Tuesday.
Okay. Done.
Okay.
And leftovers on Thursday, we have nothing. And on Friday, we've got the pound.
The pound, okay.
CAD.
The CAD, okay.
And the US.
And the US dollar here, and here, and here. Okay. So we will have the pound US dollar or pound CAD? Wednesday, first line.
Thank you.
Pound US dollar or pound CAD.
I knew that. Yep.
Then after that, we will have the pound Kiwi or pound Aussie.
Yep.
And then the pound Swiss or pound yen.
No. Okay, this will do.
Pound Swiss or pound yen.
And I picked up something that has neither of them. Oh no, F2 Swiss.
And as an alternative, so you can add the Aussie US dollar or the Kiwi US dollar.
Haven't I done that? No.
Aussie US dollar or Kiwi US dollar.
Why did I pick this one? Okay.
That's the $1 million secret, Nathan. In fact, when you take the top 10 list, and on Wednesday there were news on the US dollar and the CAD, US dollar and the CAD. So if we consider the US dollar, the only pair with the US dollar are the pound US dollar and the Aussie US dollar, which were selected. So.
I don't get you.
Can you check on Wednesday, Chris? Can you check on Wednesday?
Yep. Ooh, looks like Nathan gets his money back. We've got the CAD.
We got the CAD. Let me check. So the CAD, okay.
The US dollar.
The US dollar, I have forgotten one, yeah.
And that's it.
Okay. So indeed, so we have for the US dollar pair, so we have the pound US dollar, the Aussie US dollar, and the Kiwi US dollar. So we have to make a small change, Chris. So let me recheck. So we will have the pound US dollar or pound CAD, that's correct. Then the Aussie US dollar or Kiwi US dollar.
Okay.
And then the pound Kiwi or pound Aussie. Yeah.
Okay. Sure.
Is it okay? Is it okay, Nathan? I always consider the pairs which contains the currency with the news release. In fact, this is the key point. Because in the case of a big surprise or a big expectation, we should have nice movements in these pairs. Okay?
Okay. Well spotted. Yeah, so people don't be afraid to say, hey, what's going on here? So I will make a special excerpt of this for people to show that Eusebio is not always right. So,
of course, I'm not I'm not infallible. I'm almost, but not 100%.
I know. So it's first time this decade, Eusebio.
So I must stay humble, and I have the humility to recognize that sometimes I make some errors. And humility is my greatest quality, by the way.
Okay. And having said that as well, for the standard people, sorry. Yeah, Robert, he sprained his leg last night, so he's hobbling around the house. Hence, yep, okay. Moving on. Where was I? Okay. In the standard course and for standard members, Francois sent in a chart which we, as in Eusebio, spent half an hour on dissecting at the end of the session, which was really good. It was going through the different second perfect mode versus other entry types, as well as some exit conditions, just relating to the standard. So I've made an excerpt of it, and I'm going to blast it out to recent standard members. You'll get that shortly. But it'll also be in the forum if you're listening to this later. It's under the excerpt of this week, which was do I have the date? When did you do that? what's today? 7, 6, 5, 4th. I think it's either got the 4th or the 3rd of March in the title, if you want to go back and look for it, 2021. But it's labelled excerpt anyway. Yeah, it was Stefan. And we're going to do another one of his today, but and I'm going to dumb it down so it's for primers. Sorry, primers. It won't have all the standard stuff on it, but there'll be it doesn't really matter for what we're going to be going through. So, but thanks, Robert. And okay, I think that's it. So let's just save this for the moment, so it doesn't get destroyed. Oh, and one more question. Over here under NewsWatch, where are we? Okay, anything to monitor at the beginning, Sabio?
No, for the moment there is nothing to change.
Okay, thank you. And I'm placing up here when we last checked them, we as in Eusebio, and if there's been anything, any changes, I'm putting them here in red. I think maybe I put the date on them. Oh yeah, I did. I'm including the date as well now, so that you've got some idea on when these things have been placed up here. Okay. Oh, and just before I go any further, so this NewsWatch list that we've been through will be plastered up here in the next few hours, without all the inconsequential news items, the top 10 pairs, and also the list of the each daily's recommendations. And the reason we do this is people kept asking what pairs should I be trading. So Eusebio came up with the idea of using the best movers over the past 4 weeks based on their dollars, not their pip range, but their dollar range. Because as you can see, some of them, like the Euro Kiwi, made 121 pips, while the pound dollar only made 96. But the Euro Kiwi has much less of a money range than the pound dollar. So the pip sizes matter a lot, how much the pips are worth. And if you're trading, you want to get the ones that are going to create the most profits for you for the same movement. So a 5-pip movement in the pound dollar will give you more money than a 5-pip movement in the Euro Kiwi, which is why we arrange them like this. And rather than trying to monitor 10 pairs all at once, we chop them down so they're a bit more of a handful, more easy for you to trade. And so each day we recommend just if I can do this, nope, I can't, just the top 2. The first choices are these ones here. It doesn't really matter. There's no necessary order with these. They could be switched around. It doesn't matter that much. And then if you're not finding any really good movement on the first choices, then you can drop down to the second choice. And lately Eusebio's been chucking in another extra choice or 2, as you saw in the spreadsheet we just went through, just in case there's no movers, or to cover off. Sometimes the sessions, not all the sessions are covered with the main pairs. So we might have the pound, which is in the pound session, and the dollar in the US session, still the US dollar. But the Kiwi and the Aussie do cover the Asian session. But if there was no Kiwi or Asian session covered here or in here, then we add an extra line down here just to round things up so that people trading through the Asian session have got something, pairs that are more related to the Asian